Cooking gluten-free pasta can be a little tricky at first, but today I'm going to show you how to get perfect results every time. So my name is Jody White, and I think I know a thing or two about gluten-free pasta. My company was actually the first in the entire world to make pasta commercially from cassava, a very popular gluten-free pasta that's found today. So the secret to making the best gluten-free pasta is buoyancy. Yes, buoyancy. Buoyancy means that you want your pasta to float around in the pot. That way, it's going to cook evenly and it's not going to stick together. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have a large pot with a lot of extra water. Because gluten-free pasta, it expands about 3 to 4 times its original size. So having extra water gives it room to expand, and it also gives it the room it needs to move around in there a little bit. Make sure your pot is at a rolling boil. Not just a simmer, a rolling boil. Because when we put this in there, the temperature is going to drop. Also, you need to make sure, and this is key, that you salt your water. Salting your water increases the buoyancy. Again, buoyancy. It makes it float around that much better. Now, this isn't just true for gluten-free pasta. You should always salt your water whenever you're cooking pasta. Once your salt is in, your water is at a rolling boil, you're going to add the pasta in. You'll notice the boil reduces just a little bit. You want to give it a quick stir, separate it a little bit, and put the cover back on. Putting the cover back on is going to raise the temperature quickly. If it doesn't raise quick enough, it's going to all stick together and it's not going to be very nice. So very quickly the water has come back to a rolling boil, and I'm going to leave it there for just about 4 minutes or so. Now, based on the shape of the pasta that you're cooking, it's going to take different amount of time. So I usually recommend, if it's your first time making a pasta, try just a little instead of the entire pack. Now, shapes like fettuccine are very, very thin. So they cook very, very quickly. This one cooks in just about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. But the elbows, which we're making now, is going to take about 4 minutes. So be sure to try out your pasta first to get the perfect cooking time for you. So if you want the perfect al dente texture, the trick is to remove it just before it's done. Because if it's too soft in the pot, it's going to be way too soft afterwards. If you want al dente pasta, think about it being firm but cooked and still has just a little bite in there. And always remember, gluten-free pastas will soften after the cooking process as they rest. So you should cater for that a little bit. Once your teeth can bite through, that's when you know it's done. Now, every minute or two while it's in there, you want to give it just a gentle stir. What does this do? Of course, it separates it, gives it an even cook. Make sure it does not stick together. So we're going to leave this for just about 2 more minutes, and then it should be done. Okay, so it's been just about 4 minutes, and at this point in time, you can bite through the pasta without there being any crisp pieces, but it's still firm, and that's the ideal consistency for al dente pasta. So you're just going to scoop this in and immediately strain it. Now the thing is that you don't want to leave your pasta in the hot boiling water, because even if you turn the heat off, the water is still extremely hot. Your pasta will continue to cook, and it's going to ultimately overcook and get too soft, which is not what we want. Now coming up is going to be the most crucial steps in here. You want to do a cold water bath immediately. Why? Because you want to stop the cooking process. If it stays in this colander very, very hot, it's going to continue cooking. It's going to get too soft. So usually you do this over the sink, but today I'm just going to be doing it right here over this container. I'm going to bring down the temperature so it stops cooking. Now, one problem you may find when you're cooking gluten-free pasta is when it sits, it can get too sticky and lumped together. So what you want to do is just add a little bit of oil before it rests. A little bit of olive oil or coconut oil could work. Drop it over and just give your pasta a nice gentle toss. This will ensure as it rests that your pasta does not stick together, and you could apply it to any other dish that you want. And that's it. Perfect al dente cassava pasta. Now if you're wondering, the pasta that we use today, we've used my company's pasta, which is the Slimdown 360 cassava pasta. There's only one ingredient, and that ingredient is cassava. So not only is it gluten-free, it's grain-free, which means that it's also paleo. And it's also excellent for AIP diets. So try this out. Reach out to us if you have any questions. But if you follow these simple steps, you're going to have the perfect gluten-free pastas every time.